One of the biggest storylines from the midterm election is the battle to control the U.S. House. Unofficial results show GOP candidates retaking the majority, and that could bring new influence to some Texas Republicans serving on Capitol Hill. Congressman Michael McCaul won re-election Tuesday in District 10, which stretches from Austin all the way to the outskirts of Houston. McCaul is the ranking Republican on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and he could end up leading that committee with the new GOP majority. Our DuPree spoke one-on-one with Congressman McCaul about the midterm results and how it could affect funding for the war in Ukraine.
Republicans nationwide did not do as well as expected, as some of the polls suggested and what the experts were saying in terms of a midterm year. What do you attribute that to?
We're still going to gain 225 to 230 seats. Now that's a win in my book. That's a larger majority than Speaker Pelosi currently has, in the Congress. And so with that, you get the chairmanships, the gavels, I look at it as not a win for the Democratic Party. It's a win for the Republican Party, but I hope it's a win for the American people above all, as we talk about issues pertaining to the economy, to energy, to the border, and to national security issues. And I hope we have a president who will work with us, a Republican Congress, not unlike Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton had a choice. Am I going to work with the Republican Congress or not? And I think if I were advising the president for a day, I'd say take a page out of Bill Clinton's playbook, because that's what's going to be best for the American people.
One thing that might be top of mind for people is what the future of American support for Ukraine looks like. If you should indeed become the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, what do you think that support will look like moving forward?
Well, it's very important. And first of all, I'll be the first chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, first Texan to ever chair this committee in the history of Congress. And I'm very proud of that fact. And it's a committee that goes back to the Continental Congress because it's so important with respect to our foreign policy and our position in the world. I think we need to support Ukraine in its fight against the Russian Federation. The Russian Federation has demonstrated aggression in violation of international law. They've created war crimes that I want to bring out to the American people that are horrific. And the Ukrainians are winning. Every time we give them what they need, they win. And my biggest, complaint, if you will, against the administration is we're still not giving them what they need when I talk to them. And so, look, it's going to be a new Congress. I will be in charge of the oversight and accountability when it comes to the weapons sales and when it comes to the financial assistance. So we are going to have that oversight that the American people, taxpayer, deserves.
How do you bridge some of those divides within your own party about future support for Ukraine?
Well, it's going to be an educational process. And I think I say, we're not going to write a blank check. We are going to have oversight and accountability. We are going to ask our NATO allies to step up to the plate and, bear the cost and the burden of this effort. But if we don't do this now, we risk, just like in 1939 when Hitler invaded Poland, and when I'm in Poland, they talk about that quite a bit. We risk, then having to put American troops in the region. And that's the last thing we want to do. I think you'll find the three national security chairmen, one being Armed Services, one House Intelligence, and myself on Foreign Affairs Committee, will be leading this charge. And we're all very like-minded on this effort, this approach.
Finally, Congressman, I'm wondering who you plan to support for Speaker of the House. We just heard about Kevin McCarthy putting his name, not too surprisingly, into the ring for this particular position. Who are you going to back?
Well, I strongly support Kevin McCarthy. He's worked very hard, gone across the country, raised a ton of money. If he hadn't done that, I think these numbers that you're talking about would have been far weaker in the Republican ledger. So I think he's earned it. He's got strong support in the Congress, regardless of what some of the pundits say, and I think he will be the next Speaker of the House.
Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thanks, Will. Thanks for having me.
The State Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners is supposed to protect your pet from vets who may break the rules. Our investigation found it's not always easy for the public to see which pet doctors have been disciplined and why. Now, see how state lawmakers are getting involved and pushing for change.